sports.
We are La Force. We are Minnesota.
Of this four-game series between the Twins and the Astros is being played today. Houston took the first game of a split doubleheader, so the Twins will hope to come back and even things up with a win tonight. Tommy Milone has been a starter for the Twins, moved to reliever, but now because of the spot start tonight, he is back for this one game. And for Houston, Chris Devenski has been in the bullpen since mid-May. He is also returning to his starting role for this game here tonight. Good evening from Target Field. I'm Marnie Gellner. Last night, the Twins and the Astros got to the third inning before the umpires called the game because of rain. And Major League rules dictate that nothing that happened last night is official. Therefore, the game starts over, and it's part of a day-night doubleheader today. So the Twins and Astros played earlier this afternoon, and things did not go very well for the Twins. Jose Barrios struggled in his 2 innings of work. Jose Altuve continues to hurt the Twins. He was 4 for 5 today. He is now 9 for 10. Nope, it's 8 for 9 in this series, in the 2 games he's played. Kenny Vargas homered from both sides of the plate today. He's just the 4th Twin ever to do that. And then the Stros just poured it on. A season high 19 hits, 15 runs in a 15-7 final. And as Paul Molitor put it, probably the worst scenario for the Twins at the start of a doubleheader, having their starter go short. But hopefully Tommy Milone will be able to pick that up tonight as the Twins and Astros play a second game. How do they get Jose Altuve out? We'll look at that next.
North is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. by Chrysler. Enjoy your summer in style with great deals at the Chrysler Summer Clearance event. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. From Target Field, the final game of the Astros-Twins 4-game series. And tonight we hope to have uninterrupted baseball, a complete game, and that would make tonight Miguel Sano's 162nd game as a big leaguer, and the numbers in his first 161 games pretty impressive. And we welcome you to Target Field. Dick and Bert with you for the game that was supposed to be played last night. Now, the Twins won the opener against the Astros when Jose Altuve didn't play. He got 4 hits 2 nights ago. He got 4 hits again this afternoon. So the fact that he didn't play when the Twins won, probably not a coincidence.
Well, you know, they list Altuve at 5'6", and I'll tell you what, he does have a small strike zone, but he knows what to do with it. This guy uses the whole field. He had an at-bat here a couple nights ago where he fouled off some nasty pitches. You make one mistake as a pitcher, he's going to hit it hard. Again, it's not a guy that's going to pull the ball down the left field line consistently. He'll hit it to center. He'll hit it to right. He'll hit it all over the place. Best thing to do, throw it right down the middle. Hope he pops it up.
And the Twins hope that Miguel Sano gets some pitches down the middle, because as of late, when he gets one down the middle, it ends up in the outfield seats. Oh my, a towering fly to left into the second deck.
Playing a sport where round trippers are glamorous.
Sano with a long blast and a 3-run home run.
But round numbers, a constant symbol of success. 30 home runs, a 300 batting average, 100 runs batted in. Tonight, the number isn't round, but it's complete. 162. Miguel Sano will play in his 162nd career game tonight, marking a full season that has seen him often own the 60 feet 6 inches between rubber and result. With grit over glitter, muscle over grace, purpose over polish.
Race to center field, and the Twins walk off the Indians again.
It's also seen frustration over flair and errors over excitement. That's why they call it a season, a series of cycles. It's also why we watch, we stare, and we talk.
very loud when it comes off his bat.
When he grabs the bat and steps in the batter's box, I think a lot of people stop what they're doing and they watch.
There's a lot to say, and hopefully a lot more to see about Miguel Sano.
And Sano's in the lineup as the designated hitter. And George Springer's in the box, and we're ready to go with Tommy Milone on the mound. And strike one. The game last night halted in the third inning. The Twins had a nice lead, but of course none of what happened last night matters. We start anew. Outside, 1-1.
Tommy Milone out there. His first start here in the month of August. His last one coming late July when he pitched here against the Chicago White Sox.
And a liner scooped up by Dozier. And a throw out at first. Springer left the box barely and then turned around and came back to the dugout. One down. Menard's batting order for the Astros. Springer in the leadoff spot. The rookie Bregman batting second. Then Altuve, who seems to enjoy hitting on the road. Carlos Correa, Marwin Gonzalez, Evan Gattis, Preston Tucker, Tyler White, and Tony Kemp. One down, and here is Alex Bregman. And a pitch is up, ball one.
Saw the numbers on A.J. Hinch in his second season as a manager of the Houston Astros.
Fouled back, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, for Bregman, he's just getting his feet wet at the major league level. A guy that started in Double-A this year, then moved up to Triple-A, getting called up on July 25th. Taking over at third base. This is just his 15th major league game.
And we'll see a lot of that from Tommy Milone. We have seen this Astro team very aggressive, hunting for an early fastball in the count, and Tommy doesn't do that very often.
He's all about adding and subtracting. He will work right-handers inside, and I think that's very important.
Ground ball towards the hole. Backhanded by Polanco, and Mauer with a backhanded dig. A short throw on a long throw across the diamond, out number two. Two gone. And now the Northland Ford defense for the Twins with Danny Santana in left field, Eddie Rosario in center, Max Kepler in right, Plouffe at third. Polanco played third this afternoon for most of the game. Dozier at second, Mauer at first. Vargas was at first base this afternoon. Mauer DH, and Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. Two down, and now here's Jose Altuve. Did not play against the Twins in the first game of this series, and the Twins won. Then 2 nights ago, he played and got 4 hits. This afternoon he played and got 4 hits. And it's not just against the Twins. He's just been incredible on the road.
He's kind of running away with that batting title too, now hitting .366, and he's had a lot of at bats against Tommy Milone, 20 of them, more than any Houston Astro, and he has 6 hits in 20 at bats.
Coors Light cold hard facts: 163 hits already, a .432 on base percentage, 8 4-hit games. Up the line now, 2-2.
You know, just that's what we saw here the other night. You know, you make a good pitch as a pitcher to try to get him to maybe hit a ground ball, and he'll foul it off until you make a mistake. And he's one of these guys you're going to sometimes throw 5-6 pitches to him. Believe me, you throw 5-6 pitches to somebody, you're going to make a mistake, and he doesn't miss it.
That's up the line, and a foul ball.
That ball is down and away. It had a little tail on it, the changeup of Tommy Milone, and still able to get a piece of his bat on it to at least keep the bat alive.
You were right. He's running away with the batting race at .366. His closest pursuer is Yunel Escobar at .319. So let me.
That's a lot.
47 points.
Well, he won one a couple years ago, 2014. There's another nasty pitch that he fouls off. And he hit only 341 that year in 2014.
It's nice to see Altuve emerged a few years ago as a good player, and now he has taken his game to a higher level, and he is a great player now. You see so many players who are good players, and they kind of get stuck there. through no fault of their own. But when you see a player who becomes a good player and then has the wherewithal inside of him to raise his game higher, that's really fun to watch.
Would you consider him a 5-tool type player? I would.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got it all. He's got power.
And and he hit him out of the box. He's done. That's the way to get him out.
Yeah, let him get himself out.
Let him hit the ball in front of the plate and run into the baseball. He made it out. And it's the third out of a 1-2-3 inning. Molitor to the split doubleheader when the starting pitcher just gets you into the third inning without recording an out in the third inning. Twins hoping for a split of this doubleheader and of this 4-game series with this Menards batting order. Brian Dozier leading off. Then Joe Mauer, Max Kepler, Miguel Sano, Trevor Plouffe, Jorge Polanco, Eddie Rosario, Kurt Suzuki, and Danny Santana.
And on the mound, it'll be Chris Davinsky, making just his 5th start of the year. His last start coming in the middle of May when he made 4 straight starts and then put in a bullpen.
First pitch line foul. Dozier ready for that first pitch fastball, but hooked it foul. Driven to the right field corner. It'll be a long run for Tucker. And he won't get there. High against the wall. And Dozier rounds second and will hold up with a double. Foul down the left field line. Just fair down the right field line.
You know, that's Brian Dozier we have seen over the last month and a half. Not only pulling the ball, hitting home runs, but also taking the ball the other way, whether it's to right center or down here, in this case, the right field line. Weighted back nicely, drove the ball toward the corner here at Target Field. Big bounce off that wall. And Brian Dozier, if there's a mistake, he would have made it, but it's a double.
You like to see that run hard to second base and see whether you got a chance for third base. Strike called to Joe Mauer, the designated hitter this afternoon. And right away, Davinsky has to pitch from the stretch with a man in scoring position. One strike. That's chipped to left center field. Dozier retreating for a possible tag. Catch made by Springer. And he does a lot of things well, include throws. So no chance for Dozier to advance. One away. Max Kepler will hit next for the Twins. Northland Ford defense for the Astros. Tony Kemp in left. George Springer making his first start of the year in center field. Preston Tucker in right. Bregman, Correa, Gonzalez, White, the infielders, and Evan Gattis back behind the plate. Jason Castro caught this afternoon. Here's Kepler. Drove in 3 runs this afternoon with a double and a sacrifice fly. And time call. Twins scored enough to win the ball game this afternoon by game's end. Kepler with 3 runs batted in, Vargas with 2 home runs and 3 runs batted in.
Well, they found themselves down 6-0 going into the bottom of the second. Jose Barrios just did not have it. He worked into the third, but only 2 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned.
One strike to Kepler. Just missed that corner down and away. 1-1.
Davinsky's got a good sinking fastball. He tried that right there. 2-seamer, 4-seamer, curveball, very good changeup.
Mike Malinsky behind the plate. Marty Foster, Chris Guccione, joined by Stu Schurwater. The ball hit to right field, carrying back. Tucker back, short of the warning track, makes the catch. And Dozier will dig for third and make it, but now 2 are gone.
That's why that at bat for Joe Mauer was so important, to try to advance Dozier over to third. Kepler does it, but now there's 2 outs. You have to do the little things sometimes to create runs.
Kepler this afternoon dropped a 2-run double after the second out. And now Sano will try to produce a 2-out hit to get the Twins on the board here. Sano with 19 home runs on the year. Down and away, ball 1.
As you mentioned, Joe Mauer was a designated hitter in game 1. That means Kenny Vargas played first base, and what a game he had. 2 home runs, a solo and a double, and a 2-run home run.
Pop foul into the seats. 1-1.
Pretty good week for Miguel Sano. 6-game hitting streak, 4 home runs, and the high batting average.
Swing and a miss. The ball gets away from the catcher. Dozier came halfway down the line and slammed on the brakes. Gaddis here the other night showed some difficulty in blocking balls and simply catching the ball, and that time the ball rolled right between his legs.
Well, this ball right here just got right behind Gaddis. Brian thought about it, and I think he did the right thing, not trying to score right there. Ball just didn't get all the way back, and Gaddis able to get it, and the pitcher right there, just in case.
1-2 to Sano. Hold back.
Good swing. Davinsky's only given up 3 home runs. This is his 5th start, his 32nd appearance. Came up in his rookie season this year as a reliever, then put into the starting rotation.
Breaking ball got him. Twins get a leadoff double, but leave Dozier at third. No score after 1.
doubleheader. Eduardo Escobar started the noon game today as the shortstop, but he finished the game as the pitcher. He came in and threw the 9th inning. Escobar gave up a hit and then retired the next 3 hitters. Paul Molitor said he told Escobar to not worry about throwing the ball hard and just get it up there and let his defense make the plays. But Molitor said, I don't think he heard a word I said. Escobar himself said that he wasn't necessarily trying to throw hard. He was just trying to throw in the zone. Wasn't paying attention to the gun or anything like that. But he said he didn't want to throw it too slowly, so he had to put a little mustard on it. But overall, he was pretty excited about the opportunity despite the circumstances. And Dick and Bert, Escobar said that he had pitched once in a game in the minor leagues when he was with the White Sox, and then once he warmed up in a major league game with the White Sox, but he didn't get in the game. So today was his very first appearance as a major league pitcher.
Hey, he threw 16 pitches, 10 were over the plate. He retired 3 batters. He gave up 1 hit. Not bad.
And was clocked at 87 miles per hour. 2-1. And now 3-1 to Carlos Correa, Marwin Gonzalez, and Evan Gattis will follow.
Correa hit a home run here the other night. Game 1, he hit a 3-run home run. 2 home runs so far in this series, a 2-run home run and a 3-run home run.
And a walk to start the 2nd inning. Correa aboard, and now Marwin Gonzalez. It's not something a manager enjoys doing, but it's basically a white flag in a lopsided game. And it's something that might almost certainly would not have happened if not for the prospect of having to play another game tonight. There had been just 1 game this afternoon. Paul could have, stitched the back end of the game together with the bullpen. But saying that he would not use any of the relief pitchers in game 2 that he used in game 1, and he ended up using Taylor Rogers, and Rogers had a rough outing. Got to have somebody left to pitch in the nightcap, and the Twins will have Albers, Presley, and Kinsler. First pitch, strike.
Yeah, Buddy Boshears got hit around, but he was put on a disabled list with that little bit of elbow soreness.
Michael Tonkin pitched a couple of effective innings, but he's out of the loop for tonight, or out of the mix. 1 strike to Marwin Gonzalez.
Well, Tommy Milone, very good move to first base. He has some pickoffs in his career, actually 15 of them.
2 of them this year. Stolen base is not a big issue for him. 7 attempts, 5 successful. And he's gotten 6 ground ball double plays. Now 1-1.
Gonzalez, a switch hitter, power from both sides of the plate in his 5th season with the Astros.
And on the outside corner. This is the 10th doubleheader in Major League Baseball this year. And now 2-2. Gonzalez is kind of a super utility player. We've seen him play all over the diamond.
Played second base when Altuve had the day off. Now at first. Excuse me, he's at second in this ball game as Altuve is a DH.
Malone left to pitch up, and Gonzalez had a good whack at it. Fouled it straight back.
Tommy making his 7th career start against the Astros. 1 win, 1 loss. ERA at 4.79. And the most important thing, of the 6 previous starts, 3 were quality starts, and that's what Paul Molitor and Neil Allen would like to get out of Malone. Just give me a quality start.
I think they'd be happy with that, but that has been an issue for Tommy. Sometimes the pitch count or just the whole idea of facing a lineup a third time makes it difficult for Tommy to complete 6 or 7 innings.
Yeah, in his first 11 starts, only 2 quality starts. Paying a lot of attention to Correa, who has 10 stolen bases in 13 attempts.
Suzuki to the mound.
Astros like to run 82 stolen bases. They've been caught 31 times. Altuve has 26 of the 82.
Two and 2 to Gonzalez. Off the end of the bat, foul.
Master of changing speeds, Tommy Milone. 44 wins, only 31 losses. Good win-loss record in his career here this afternoon or evening, making his 118th major league start.
Pop up short right field. Dozier running out, and he can't make the play, and it's a bloop base hit after a long at bat. And Gonzalez shaking his right hand because that one stung. They got the breaking ball inside, but it dropped for a hit. First and second, nobody out. Join us Monday, September 5th against the Royals for Eduardo Escobar and friends Labor Day celebration benefiting Venezuelan youth. Special ticket package includes tickets on the Budweiser roof deck, a post-game meet and greet with Eduardo Escobar and other Twins players and more. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/Escobar or call 800-33-TWINS. Show up and ask Eduardo about his pitching experience earlier today. Here's Evan Gattis with the Astros threatening here in the second inning. Strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, let's take a look at this pitch by Gonzalez. I thought it was a fastball inside that he got in there pretty good. Gonzalez, you can see his reaction. Kind of like, whoa, get out of my kitchen. But he able to flare it into right field for the first hit for the Astros.
Scooped by Suzuki, 1-1.
See, and that's what Tommy needs to do. He does need to pitch inside because he does such a good job of that changeup down and away.
You could see on replay that ball hit right on Gonzalez's, the trademark of his bat. Just happened to loft it softly into right field. 2-1. Twins had a 5-0 lead last night, but tonight none of that ever happened. I thought I had the best 2 innings of my career last night as a play-by-play man.
I thought you did too.
And it never happened.
Oh, you were at the top of your game.
I felt that way.
Yep. Then the rains came.
Yep.
It just washed it all away.
3-1 to Gattis. Chopper toward third, a foul ball. 3-2.
Gattis, a guy, the average isn't very high, hitting at .226, but he does have 17 home runs. Second season with the Astros, coming over from the Braves, where he played a couple of years.
Full count. Wouldn't expect the Astros to send the runners here with Gattis at the plate. Drill to left center field. Heading back is Rosario. But that ball is gone. A 3-run home run.
There's some of that power right there. Home run number 18. Well, the Astros take an early 3-0 lead thanks to Gattis's 3-run home run. And the 13th home run that Tommy Milone has allowed.
A pitch that was down that he reached down and lifted out.
Big, strong kid. I mean, look at this guy. He just kind of reached out, showed off that strength. You see the follow through with those big forearms. They list him at 6'4", 270 pounds.
So 3-0, and now Preston Tucker. Still nobody out in the second inning.
That was a 3-run home run off of Correa bat in game 1 that kind of got the ball rolling for the Astros. That was late in the ball game, but still, they're swinging the bat good. They came in struggling.
Down and away, 1-1. Yeah, the 10 games prior to this series, the Astros had scored a total of 18 runs. That's down the left field line, and it'll be chased by Santana, and makes the catch on the warning track, 1 away. One down. That'll bring up Tyler White. Playing at first base tonight, and then Tony Kemp will bat.
Yeah, White in his rookie season with the Astros. Getting called up at the end of July for the second time.
Fastball taken for strike 1.
White, good minor league numbers, 3+ minor league seasons, a .309 career hitter, and almost 1,200 minor league at bats. Now getting a chance to do it for the Astros at the major league level.
And again, 89 miles per hour at the knees, 0-2. These games, after a postponement the night before, the makeup games are always sparsely attended. Twins were supposed to have this night off after a day game today. And the Astros were supposed to be landing in Toronto about now. Chopper to short. Polanco scoops and flips 2 down.
Nice play by Polanco. He had to come a long way for that ball, get it on the short hop, and has to throw on the run, and it's a strike to Mauer. So kind of a swinging butt got in on the kitchen a little bit of White. And White fought it off, and Polanco coming in, getting that short hop. And a quick flip over to Mauer for the second out.
Tony Kemp will bat. And down and away, ball 1. Kemp getting a chance again to play left field. Colby Rasmus out with an inner ear issue. That one a liner knuckling its way to center field. A 2-out single for the number 9 batter.
Yeah, third hit of the inning. It all started off with the walk to Correa.
And that'll get us to George Springer, 7th man to bat this inning. And you look up, and Malone's already thrown 42 pitches, which would, even if he gets Springer here, would put him on a pace to maybe complete 5. There goes the runner, Kemp. And no chance for Suzuki.
He got a great jump right there on first movement. Kemp steals his second major league base in 3 attempts. Come on out. As soon as Tommy Malone lifted that leg, he was off. And a good strong throw by Suzuki, but no chance.
1 strike to Springer. And now 2. Springer with a ground ball, hit hard, just short of Dozier's glove on the line, and he ended up, Dozier did, throwing Springer out at first. A little pop up, and that will land on the warning track by the Twins dugout. Oh, 2. That's a fair ball down the line, and Kemp will score. It's 4-0. Springer digging for second, and Santana kind of double clutched his throw. It's a double. Another big 2-out hit for the Astros, and so far a 4-run inning.
Well, we saw Springer over the last couple of 3 games, and he likes to swing the bat hard. Does not get cheated up there. Looked like a fastball in. He opened up quickly and hit it right down that third baseline past Trevor Plouffe. Hitting off the wall. Danny Santana has to retrieve it and get it back in. So an RBI double for Springer's 21st double, driving in his 66th run.
Here is Bregman with another runner in scoring position. Low, ball 1. Swing and a miss. 1-1. And a long inning, and now the 49th pitch of the ball game for Tommy Milone.
Yeah, 33 pitches so far thrown in this inning from Milone. 34.
And again, Jose Barrios this afternoon pitched into, but didn't even get an out in the 3rd inning. The Twins had to get 7 innings from their relief corps this afternoon. The one thing that they did do is add Andrew Albers, who was a starter in Rochester. And I would think Albers' chances of pitching in this game have risen sharply.
Increased.
Yes, they have. There's Albers. 3-1 to Bregman. And the second walk of the inning, and 9 men will bat here. And Altuve will hit with 2 on and 2 out. Buddy Boucher's going on the disabled list with elbow discomfort, and Albers was going to be added as the 26th man for the Twins in this ball game, which you can't do when you have a split doubleheader. You can add an extra player for the second game of the doubleheader, but with the Boucher's move, the Twins just made that move, putting Albers on the 25-man roster, I guess.
See Albers right there starting to loosen up a little bit.
So Altuve, who hit a little spinner in front of home plate and then stepped into it for the 3rd out of the 1st inning. And Milone hoping that he'll be the 3rd out of the 2nd inning. Strike 1. Last night at this time, the Twins had a 5-0 lead. Tonight it's the Astros with a 4-0 lead. 1-1.
Altuve in his 6th season with the Astros, 4-time All-Star. Won a Gold Glove last year at second base.
Bouncer to second. Dozier with the flip to finally end the inning. The Astros leave 2 on, but they score 4 times in the 2nd against Tommy Milone. Springer with a 2-out RBI double, and it's 4-0 Houston. Twins will send up Plouffe, Polanco, and Rosario trying to chip away at the 4-0 deficit. Very disappointing start for Tommy Milone. And Plouffe will lead things off in the second against Chris Devenski. Twins had a leadoff double in the first from Dozier. Had a chance to score the first run of the game, but didn't get it done, and now they're staring up at 4 runs. 1-0 to Plouffe. Popped up a foul ball, and it is back in the seats. 1-1.
Yeah, Trevor just in his 4th game since coming back off the disabled list, where he's on the disabled list with that fractured left rib. And over a month on a disabled list, missed 32 games. Second time he's been on a DL. He was on a DL this year.
Tapper to third. 2-hopper, easy play for Bregman. 1 down. Jorge Polanco seems to get a hit or two every time the Twins put him in the lineup, so his chances of staying in the lineup are pretty good.
Yeah, 12-game hitting streak. He's a good hitter from both sides of the plate, scoring some runs. That's important, and also driving in some runs. Some extra base hits for Polanco. 6 doubles, a couple triples, and a home run.
And outside, ball 1. And as of late, Polanco's done a really nice job playing shortstop. Had a couple of short throws across that have needed to be scooped. But if those are the bad throws, and you don't want to encourage it, but if those are the bad throws, you still got first baseman's got a chance to make a play. It's the ones that are left and right and over the first baseman's head that are really bad throws.
Yeah, that throw that he made in the first inning off the bat of Bregman, that wasn't that bad. I mean, Joe is just a little short hop. That was it.
You'd like every throw to be chest high across the diamond, but that's unrealistic too.
I wanted every pitch down and away on the black too. Not going to happen.
There's a strike, 3-1. And one of the encouraging things about Polanco is his lack of strikeouts. Just 6. And there is strike 2.
Like a changeup right there. Yeah, just 6 times he struck out in 71 at bats. And he's only taken 5 walks.
Thought he took one there. Rosario on deck.
See the last pitch right here.
A little pop up to short left. Bregman's the only infielder there, and he makes the catch. 2 down. And that'll bring up Rosario. Rosario, on the other hand, has been in a bit of a strikeout rut. Struck out 4 times the other night. With Byron Buxton sent down, Rosario is the first option for the Twins in center field. Down and in, ball 1. Danny Santana can play out there as well. 5 in a row sent down by Devenski after the Dozier double. 1-1.
Yeah, Devenski making again only his 5th start, his first since the middle of May. Now as a starter in his 4 prior starts, 0-2 with an ERA at 5.03. This is his first career start and appearance against the Twins.
Foul back. What teams have done, particularly once it gets to 2 strikes. Rosario kind of grabbing his left rib cage area a little bit. What teams have done is they've gotten Rosario to expand the strike zone with 2 strikes. He's chased a lot of pitches out of the zone. Tap foul. For a while, like Rosario's batting average was headed towards 300, and it's come back now down to 269.
He had 267 last year in 122 ball games, drove in 50 runs, 13 home runs.
Tap to the right side. Easy play for White on 2 hops. He goes to the bag, and it's a 1-2-3 second. Astros up 4-0. Presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. Carlos Correa will lead off the third for Houston. He led off the second with a walk, and by the end of the inning, the Astros had 4 runs on the board. It'll be Correa, Gonzalez, and Gattis again here in the third. Malone misses on the first pitch. It was his 54th pitch of the ball game. Hit hard to center. And Rosario just turns around and looks. And Correa, who homered to center this afternoon, gets another one to center field tonight.
His third home run in this series. And the second home run that Tommy Malone has allowed. It's a 5-0 ball game. Home run number 18 on the year for Correa. This kid is going to be fun to watch over the years. Just 21 years old. Great solid swing right there, right down the heart of the plate. And he hit it a long way. That's a poke right there up in that second deck up there.
5-0. And now Gonzalez taking strike one. Tapper to third. Plouffe to Mauer, one away. That'll bring up Gattis, who was out in front of a breaking ball, reached across the plate, and he had to provide all the power on his own, it seemed like, and boy, did he ever provide the power. I don't know that I've seen a home run hit there very often. Off the very top of the facing of the upper deck and deep center, right center.
Right over the total engine oils.
Another chance for Plouffe. 2 down. Nobody sees sports quite like Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know, the guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason on FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself, weekdays at 5 p.m. Central. 2 down, and now Tucker. Tucker with a foul out to Danny Santana. His first time up. Big swing and a miss. Twins have lost 2 in a row to the Astros. It's just the third losing streak of any duration they've had since July 1st. they've had prior to this. They had a 2-game losing streak and a 3-game losing streak, and you don't have to think too hard to think about the first 3 months and how many 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 9-game losing streaks there were. In the dirt.
Well, I know there's only one 9-game losing streak.
Right. But it was at the start of the year.
Just so happened to be at the first 9 games. Not the best way to start.
One and 2 to Tucker. Two and 2. His mound opponent for the Astros tonight, Davinsky's kind of got the same knock on him as Tommy Milone has carried through his tenure with the Twins. And the reason he's been in the bullpen is Davinsky does really well against lineups the first time, but as a starter he's had a tough time second and third time through the lineup. Now that said, you don't want to spot the guy a 5-run lead, but the Twins I think can chip away at this since it's early enough to maybe take a shot at winning this game after all. 2 and 2. Fouled back. Two and 2. And Milone strikes out Tucker to end the inning.
That first strikeout for Milone.
Carlos Correa went very deep to center field to make it a 5-0 ball game. For a little more than a year, he's already shown tremendous power, and he showed it on that swing.
Watch the hands come through right there. The great contact and the follow through. Hit 22 home runs last year in 99 ball games. American League Rookie of the Year last year. Again, only 21 years old, out of Puerto Rico.
Suzuki, Santana, and Dozier in the Twins' third inning. Centeno did the catching this afternoon. A couple of errant throws and a base hit. Suzuki takes a strike.
Davinsky signed by the White Sox originally out of Cal State Fullerton, the same school that Kurt Suzuki attended, Cal State Fullerton in Southern California.
That's hit to center. Springer back a few steps for the first out. Now 7 in a row set down by Davinsky. And now Danny Santana.
Davinsky's kind of that way in the minor leagues too for the White Sox and the Astros. He was always kind of a spot starter in the minor league. 64 starts, 111 games, 133 minor league games. He is 0-4 at the big league level. So what he wants to do is try to get 5 in or more, pick up his first major league win.
Strike at the knees. Andrew Albers warming up in a hurry. It might be that Tommy Milone will only give the Twins 3 innings here tonight, the way Albers is warming up. And the almost certainty of him being used at some time, I don't think he'd be warming up as he is now unless he was going to come in and pitch in the 4th inning.
Well, you know, you mentioned that he started down in AAA, so it might take him a little bit longer to get loose.
Check swing 1-2.
Looks like Neil Allen on the phone. Talking to Eddie Guardado out there.
Good luck with that.
Coach, yeah.
Up the line, foul. Foul back. One and 2. And now 2-2.
Looks like that changeup that he throws right there that almost has a screwball type of effect. Struck out Sano on that. Well, it's a slider down and away. That pitch right there.
Pop up back into the seats.
Comes up at 80, 82 miles an hour. What'd you say? You're reading the notes and they were talking about his changeup. What did they call
They
his
have a
changeup?
nickname for it. The Circle of Death.
The Circle of Death.
And now, guy who's got the Circle of Death has a 5-run lead.
Here comes, maybe. No, he shook it off. He shook the circle off. And it zipped the fastball by Santana. Picks up his 2nd strikeout.
2 down. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout, other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Now, when I read that his changeup has been called probably by one guy. Some guy just wanted to come up with a name and he said the Circle of Death, and now it's in his bio.
How do you know he didn't come up with it?
Well, that could be. But now with your curveball, nobody ever gave it a nickname, did they?
If I hung it, yeah. Look at that hanger.
Yippee! Uncle Charlie, Lord Charles,
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
2 strikes.
As long as I got an out.
But the Circle of Death. One and 2 to Dozier. He doubled into the right field corner to lead off the 1st inning, but the Twins only got him to 3rd base. And a dribbler to short. Correa picks up and fires it into the camera well. And Correa leaped and threw off target, a 2-base error.
That'll be his 12th error of the year. You know what? We just showed a couple innings ago Polanco making almost the same play and making a nice throw. Correa trying to hurry his throw right there. Kind of a swinging, you know, slow roller. Had plenty of time, but just airmails it past White at 1st base. And it does go into the camera well, which allows Dozier to get to 2nd base.
We'll see if Mauer can deliver a 2-out hit that'll score a run. Mauer hit a fly ball to left center field, caught by Springer. It did not advance Dozier. And when Kepler followed with a deep fly to right, the Twins were only able to get Dozier to 3rd base.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because those are the little things, you know, throughout a long summer you have to get better at, and that's advancing that guy at 2nd base with no outs. Get him over to 3rd. Joe was unable to do that.
Strike called, 1-1.
It may not be a big thing, but it would have maybe given the Twins a 1-0 lead, and that's the old Gene Mauch theory. Whoever scores first, usually 70% of the time, wins the ball game.
1-1.
Get on the board first.
Ground ball. And Correa with a nice backhanded pickup, and he throws on target this time.
Better throw. Yeah.
He had to look through the legs of Brian Dozier to find it, but he found it. The inning ends. The Astros leading 5-0. Last night the Twins were leading 5-0. National League wild card race, and the Cardinals right there with the Marlins. The Sanford Health Injury Report. Bad news for the Cardinals. Matt Adams with some left shoulder inflammation. And he provides a little pop for the Cardinals in the middle of the lineup. He's going to be out for a while.
Tommy Milone, speaking about his 3 innings, he's out of the ball game. That brings on Andrew Albers. If you remember him, he pitched here in 2013. He made 10 starts for the Twins, was 2-5, 4.05 ERA. Twins ended up selling him to South Korea, where he pitched 1 inning, or excuse me, 1 year, and then last year in a Toronto Blue Jay organization. Signed late by the Twins in April. Made 19 starts in Rochester. Won 9, lost 5. Good point ERA at 3.51.
Got off to a great start, going 17 shutout innings in his big league career, and then the starts weren't nearly as effective. He is the ideal man to come in here to try to get the Twins back into this game by pitching a few zeros, but here in this split doubleheader, forced because of the postponement last night, the Twins get all of 5 innings from their 2 starting pitchers. Albers will face White, Kemp, and Springer in the 4th. White with a ground ball to short. Most of the damage against Milone done on 2 swings, a 3-run home run by Gaddis and a solo home run by Correa. Missing, ball 1.
Albers, 30 years old, with that high leg kick. Originally signed by the Padres back in 2008 out of the University of Kentucky.
Bouncer, backhanded, not backhanded by Polanco. It sneaked under his glove for an error.
Both shortstops have an error now.
And the leadoff man is on again here in the 4th.
For Polanco, just his 2nd error of the season.
I'm out here.
And for the Twins, that's their 84th. That's the most in the American League.
Here's Tony Kemp. Singled, stole second immediately, and then scored on Springer's double down the left field line. Outside, ball 1. and that's fouled over by the tarp. 1-1.
Albers made one appearance for the Toronto Blue Jays last year. That was out of the bullpen, 2 2/3 innings, did give up a run. So he has not pitched at the big leagues since May 1st of last year.
Mauer will juggle the ball momentarily. He'll tag Kemp. I think he wanted to spin and fire, but he didn't get the ball cleanly out of his glove.
Yeah, kind of lost the grip of the baseball, and Ortley says, okay, I can't throw there. Get the sure out. And on the play, White goes to second.
That'll bring up Springer.
Joe bouncing off the bag right there, gets it. Never got a good grip on that baseball. Ended up tagging out Kemp.
And now Springer. Springer leading the Astros with 118 strikeouts. But in the last couple of games and so far here tonight, the ball hit hard to right field. Kepler looking up, and that's gone into the seats. Springer with a 2-run home run, and the Astros continue to pound Twins pitching.
Home run number 23 for Springer. Albers down in AAA, 19 starts. He gave up 10 home runs. So we've seen Springer too use power to all fields. This pitch looks like it's away.
Wasn't too far off from where Suzuki wanted it.
Yep. See the big swing, almost Correa's type of follow through. Nice hands by the fan out there. It's a 7-0 ball game.
You know what this is starting to remind me of is a series the Twins had here in June against the Phillies. The Phillies came in struggling to score runs, and they lost 2 of the 3 ball games to the Twins, but they scored what, 22 runs in the 3 games. And the Twins were reminded that if they don't do some fundamental things, you're always talking about pitching inside and making hitters feel a little uncomfortable. They didn't do that in the Phillies series, and I don't know whether they've done enough of that here in this Houston series.
Well, you know what, our pitching staff, needless to say, with the high ERA, worst in the American League, if not all of baseball, has woken up a lot of teams when they come in here.
2-2 now to Bregman. Fouled away. So 7 early runs for the Astros after scoring 15 this afternoon. If you thought they might be tired running around the bases all afternoon long, 3 home runs so far, and we're just in the 4th inning, 3-2.
Yeah, they've hit 139 home runs now, and they've allowed only 119. Twins have hit 138 home runs, but they've allowed 159 now. That's trouble.
Center, and racing in is Rosario for out number 2.
Rosario got a good jump right there for the second out.
Let's go to Marty Kellner.
We all know by now that Jose Altuve is not an easy out, and I spoke to Twins pitching coach Neil Allen about the strategy against him, and Allen said, well, first of all, you have to use all 4 quadrants of the plate to show him a good mix of locations. And you have to make him uncomfortable, make him move his feet a couple of times. And Allen said, you absolutely cannot fall into a pattern with Altuve. That's the worst thing you can do. He said, if you get him out one time on a pitch, do not expect that you'll be able to get him out with the same pitch in his next at bat, because that's what he's looking for. So that's the strategy against Jose Altuve. Strategies don't always work when you're facing the best hitter in baseball.
Thank you, Marty. It sounds a lot like you're talking about Miguel Cabrera too. You know, that's
right.
Almost the same thing. You can't set him up. You look at where in his career where his hits have been.
He's just worn out center field after getting a second strike. He's just peppered the ball in center field. Swinging a foul tip, and now we'll see what he can get done with Albers ahead of him, 1-2.
447 at bats. He has struck out 50 times. He's walked 49.
Albert backhands it, And flips to Mauer to end the inning. But an error. And another Astro home run. It's 7-0. Max Kepler will lead off the fourth for the Twins. Struggling to score runs. That's hardly been an issue here. 7-0, an early lead with Max Kepler ready to lead off the bottom of the fourth. He'll be followed by Miguel Sano and Trevor Plouffe. Strike one. Again, Kepler this afternoon drove in 3 of the 7 Twins runs. He's got 52 runs batted in. It's deep to the left field corner. And Kemp has no play. Kepler has those 52 runs batted in with less than 250 at bats.
Yeah, 237 at bats. So yeah, he's made the most out of good contact. The average not quite where he wants to be, hitting at 262, but he is driving in some big runs for the Twins. He and Dozier.
Up and away. Kepler trying to get something started for the Twins. Down by 7. And landed 4 feet in front of the plate. Hopped over Gaddis's left shoulder. Dozier lost a home run last night. Hit one, but it didn't count, of course. And I thought that was a pretty regular occurrence. I asked you. You thought, yeah, it happens a lot. People lose home runs. Fouled away.
I'm amazed what you just were going to say.
I was listening to the radio broadcast since, as you know, we did televise this afternoon, and I did some research, and I believe this is accurate. It was a thorough source. It was just the second time in a Twins game where a player lost a home run. The other time was in 1973 when both Rod Carew and Harmon Killebrew lost a home run because of a rainout. So not only is Brian Dozier in really good company with 2 Hall of Famers, but he's in very exclusive company. I would have guessed that happened 12, 15, 20 times in Twins history.
Especially at the old Met, where I pitched for 6 years, 7 years, and we had so many rain delays and rain outs at times. Yeah, I'm very surprised with what they found out.
Miguel Sano fouls it off the end of the bat, 1-1. One of the games listed where a player, in this case players, lost home runs was in June of 1961. Both Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle lost a home run in a game because it wasn't played to its completion. 1 and 2. So Maris, who ended up besting Ruth with his 61st home run, if the weather had cooperated, He'd have had 62.
We saw the slider right there. Sano, that's what he struck out in his first at bat. They tried to high fastball. It's exactly where Gaddis wanted that pitch. Sure, right now they're going to go back to that slider.
Grounded and ranging to his left. Gonzalez can't flag it down, and Sano rolls a base hit through the shift.
Yeah, he went back to the slider, but he left it up. It looked like Sano hit it right off the end of the bat.
Through 161 games, Sano's batting average figures to improve. His on-base percentage figures to improve, so his on-base plus slugging, the OPS should improve. And all the other numbers pretty solid with 100 runs batted in. He's aboard with 1 out, and now Trevor Plouffe. Pop-up short center. Hustling in is Springer, hustling out is Altuve. Nonchalantly, it seemed. Ran out there and made the catch.
Gonzalez making a nice over-the-shoulder catch.
I'm sorry, not Altuve, you're right. 2 down, and now Polanco.
It looked like it's going to be a little flare, but good concentration, and the open glove of Gonzalez makes the catch for the second out.
Here is Polanco, popped up to third his first time up. And now 2-0. The Astros continue to increase the lead for Devenski, trying to pick up his first win.
What?
3-0. Rosario on deck.
Well, he made only 4 starts. Again, 1 late April and then the first 3 in May, early May. And 3 of the 4 were pretty good starts. He just had that blow up in Boston, but a lot of pitchers do, where he gave up 6 runs in 2 innings.
Down the middle of strike. Now strike 2. That changeup.
That might have been the circle of death.
I don't know. Not if it's just the second strike.
I think that's what he struck out Kepler on.
The circle of death?
Circle of death, yes. There it is again.
And a called third strike.
Yep.
And Mike Malinsky hearing it from the Twins dugout. Polanco thought he'd walked again. Anthony, strike 3.
We're inside the Minnesota Lottery Winners Circle, and we have $100 worth of scratch-off tickets for Mike and Tracy from Knife River, Minnesota, celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary today, which means, of course, 25 circles for Bert. You told me, Mike, that you spent your honeymoon at a game at the Metrodome. So why is it that you have kind of made it a thing to spend anniversaries with the Twins?
Well, we figured this is a good way to kind of redo our honeymoon, and also we love the Twins.
You got some freedom here tonight to kind of move around and maybe pick up a souvenir foul ball for an anniversary gift.
Yeah, a little drier than last night, so that was kind of nice.
Yeah, Dick and Bert, they said they were here last night, used the poster as a shelter from the rain a little bit, and waited out the entire rain delay, and they're back tonight. Happy anniversary, guys.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Marnie. See, that's what those signs are good for. If it rains, you just put it over your head for protection. You are both hereby circled. Happy anniversary.
1 and 2 to Correa. Knife River, of course, up on the North Shore. Not too far from Two Harbors, between Duluth and Two Harbors.
Beautiful area up there.
Be really beautiful. And well, let's see, this is August, so we're looking early October, something like about 2 months. Fall colors up there will be gorgeous.
Correa hit a home run to lead off the third inning off of Tommy Malone.
3 and 2 now to Correa.
Walked in his first at bat in the second and scored. He scored 2 of the 7 runs.
Hard to right field. Kepler back. One hopping the wall, and it's a high hop. Kepler again barehanding it, firing it to second. And Correa has an opening double in the 5th.
A lot of extra base hits for the Astros in this ball game. 3 home runs. That's their second double. So 5 of their 7 hits have gone for extra base hits. Fastball again about belt high to Correa. Hit sharply the other way. His 28th double of the year.
Marwin Gonzalez with a single, a run scored, and a ground ball. Strike 1 from Albers. And inside 1-1.
Going to get a chance to sit down with Andrew Albers and talk about his experience in South Korea, because we are going there as with the Dutch team, the Netherlands team in the WBC next year.
Now, is this going to be a televised interview, or are you just looking for a good restaurant to eat at?
I'm just going to, you know, I'm sure he pitched at all the different ballparks.
Right.
I believe we will be in Seoul, South Korea, where the stadium will be, but I'm going to ask him about, you know, the experience he had there.
2-1. That's hit hard to center.
Ouch.
Heading towards the bullpen.
I hate that sound.
And high off the screen, it'll be another double and another run for the Astros. 2 very well hit balls here in the 5th inning against Andrew Albers.
Yeah, back-to-back doubles. Gonzalez picks up his 22nd double, driving in his 32nd run on his second hit. Well, they got 19 hits in that first game, and pitches like this right down the heart of the plate. And here the solidness of that bat. My goodness, that hurts.
Here's Gaddis, a 3-run home run into the bullpen in the second. Then he hit a ground ball to third. 1-1. Again, the Twins used Buddy Boshears this afternoon, put him on the disabled list. Taylor Rogers pitched. Michael Tonkin, J.T. Chagua actually pitched a couple of scoreless innings. Didn't mean to leave him off our description of the bullpen use this afternoon.
He went 2 2/3 innings in his second major league appearance, and that first one was not a good one. So yeah, he pitched very well this time around.
But they will not be used in tonight's ball game.
Chargois and Michael Tonkin.
3-1. So that leaves Albers in relief of Malone, and then Presley and Kinsler. And if the Twins can somehow, unless this game gets turned around here dramatically, if they could save either one of those guys or one or the other. Here's a ball hit to left, a base hit. Gonzalez will go to third. They're going to wave him around. Here's Santana's throw to Plouffe, and 3 hits to start the 5th inning, and at least 2 more runs.
Gaddis picking up his 4th run batted in this ball game with that RBI single. And we saw the location of Correa, Gonzalez, and you're going to see almost the same pitch to Gaddis, right down the heart of the plate.
Fox Tracks presented by Chrysler.
It's batting practice.
Well, I always hesitate to use that term, but that's basically what this has been.
Got to be honest.
Still nobody out. Preston Tucker, the batter. Big swing and a miss. Tucker struck out. He was the last man that faced Tommy Malone, and he was the only man that Malone got a swing and miss against. And that tickles the outside corner. 0-2.
Yeah, Malone worked the first 3 innings, gave up 5 hits. All 5 runs are earned. A couple walks, a strikeout through 66 pitches. 2 of them left the ballpark.
Chopper towards second. Dozier to Polanco. Double play. 2 outs on 1 pitch. That'll bring up Tyler White. You can bid now through this Sunday, August 13th, on the Twins Wives Organization's annual Favorite Things auction. You can bid on baskets of some of the Twins players' favorite things, including autographed items. All proceeds go to benefit children and families in need at Crescent Cove. Destiny Molitor was with us last night as it started raining to discuss Crescent Cove and what a worthy endeavor they are. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/wives auction. 2 down, and now White with a 1-0 count. Foul to the seats, 1-1. Albers entered the game in the 4th inning. Gave up 2 runs, 1 of them earned, and now 2 more runs here in the 5th. This one hit to the gap in left center. That's going to run all the way to the wall. And Rosario retrieves it. White has a double, the 3rd double of this inning.
And again, everything hit are extra base hits. Come down here. White with his first hit, picking up his 10th. You see where that ball is again. You can see, not down the middle, but right belt high. White opening up quickly, hitting that gap. The ball rolling all the way to the bullpen area.
Tony Kemp, a single, run scored, and a ground ball to first. One and 0.
Got to find a way to get Altuve up because he's 0 for 3. He's made the outs. Can't say that too often. Thought I'd throw that in there.
They didn't make any outs 2 nights ago or
no, he didn't.
this afternoon, so he's due to make some outs. And the Twins this afternoon got only 2 innings from Jose Barrios, and tonight only 3 innings from Tommy Malone. Two and 1. There's Barrios. Right. 1 line foul.
This past Gary Pettis. Looks like he could still steal a base, a third base coach for the Astros.
He's one of the best center fielders I ever saw. Man, could he cover ground.
Yes, he could. And he could steal some bases too.
2-2 to Tony Kemp. Astros not only didn't score in the first inning, Tommy Milone had a 1-2-3 inning, but since the first inning, they've scored 4 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 so far here in the fifth. Now it's a full count to the number 9 batter. And he took it right down the middle. 4 more hits, 3 doubles, 2 more runs for Houston. Astros having some fun here. The Mountain Dew fans of the game hoping the Twins can have some fun before this game and series wrap up. But right now it's 9-0 Houston. And Eddie Rosario will lead off the 5th against Chris Davinsky. Ball 1.
Davinsky doing a good job. He has four strikeouts. He's given up only 2 hits. And one of them was a leadoff double to Dozier. The other one took Miguel Sano that right off the end of the bat went into right field.
That's hit hard to the corner foul.
Davinsky again came into this ball game making just his 5th major league start. This is his 32nd appearance and his first start since May 15th, looking for his first major league win.
That's hit to right center and caught in the gap by Springer. 1 away. We'll bring up Suzuki. Mentioned the losing streaks for the Twins. Before the season was 7 weeks old, they had a 4-game losing streak, a 5-game losing streak, a 7-game losing streak, and a 9-game losing streak. And then later on in June, a 5-game losing streak as well. And they are, unless they can turn this game around rather dramatically, about ready to drop their 3rd straight for just the 2nd time since July 1st. 1 strike to Suzuki. Just think of that, though. I mean, we lived it, we watched it, but the season's 7 weeks old, and you've had 4 losing streaks that combined for 25 losses.
Well, again, I think we talked about it. April, you know, the offense wasn't really clicking. The pitching was okay, but in May and June. Pitching staff had an ERA over 6.
This one hit hard to the gap in left center field, but Kemp cuts over to make the catch. 2 down.
And the Twins had a very good month of July, starting to click, and they're still coming into this ball game 6-4 here in the month of August.
But you've got to get better starting pitching than what the Twins have gotten in this doubleheader. Danny Santana will hit next. Kansas City Royals come to town. Night game on Friday, night game on Saturday, and a day game Sunday. It'll be Gibson, Duffy, and Santiago.
You know, all you're asking for is quality starts, and I know this month so far, Twins have played 10 ball games. They've had 2 quality starts. That's it.
As exciting as it was on the road trip with Kepler hitting all the home runs and all that, fact is the Twins gave up 6 runs a game to the Indians.
Right. Saw that last pitch right there. That's that circle of death. That ball dropped straight down.
Now the circle means it's a circle change.
Right.
So that's the circle part.
Right.
But the circle of death, that's a bit dramatic, don't you think?
Well, there it is again. The death creates a strikeout. Number 5.
3 up, 3 down in the 5th for the Death Master, Chris Davinsky. Presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. What's yours? Twins didn't have any fun this afternoon. It hasn't been much fun tonight either, with the Astros comfortably in front. As we go to the 6th inning, George Springer with an RBI double and a 2-run home run. And Andrew Albers will start his 3rd inning of work. He delivers strike 1.
You know, one thing that they have is Albers right here. Yeah, you know, he's given up some runs, 4 runs in the last 2 innings, but they're hoping that he can get, as you mentioned, Presley and, you know, Kinsler. They really don't want to use him, so Albers has been a starter. Hopefully he can get some quick innings here that he can maybe get through the 9th inning.
You know, Paul Molitor said the other day again about his concern for Ryan Presley and how many games he's pitched coming back from his lat injury last year. And then Kinsler too. I mean, you don't want to burn your closer up in a game where you're down by 9 or more runs. So we'll see whether Albers can take the reins here for a while. Center field, and now Rosario's been very busy here tonight. Retreats on this ball, and it's another extra base hit for Springer.
Well, his 2nd double of the ball game to go with that 2-run home run.
Albers has given up 6 hits. 5 of them have been extra base hits.
Well, this looked like a breaking ball, and Springer went down lower part of the strike zone. Hit it straight away center over the head of Rosario. They're teeing off here against Albers, as they did against Tommy Malone.
And Albers looks the runner back, gets a quick out on Bregman's ground ball. Carsoup.com trivia. Which two players have the most 4-hit career games against the Twins? Well, Altuve has 2 of them in this series.
I wouldn't say it's him.
Fouled away, 1 strike.
It's got to be somebody that the Twins saw a lot of.
Right.
Like a Carl Yastrzemski, somebody like that.
Brooks Robinson. I don't know that we've ever had Brooks Robinson as part of our trivia question. So I'm going to say that's going to be my pick. Brooks Robinson.
Brooks, he's a nice man. He was at the Hall of Fame. Looks well. And Altuve, he has had a lot of them. Since 2014, 16 of them.
Look how many Bogarts already has. 10.
I'm not here. You'll be on our WBC team, the Dutch team.
Well, if you guys don't win the whole thing,
Right,
it's going to be because of the pitching staff.
Coach. I'd blame it on the pitching coach.
Kevin Chapman getting loose.
Chapman is the 26th player for the Astros in the second game of the doubleheader, day-night doubleheader. Just getting called up.
2 strikes to Altuve. One and 2. Twins were off to a great start last night. Had a 5-0 lead on Dallas Keuchel. Then the rains started. It didn't stop for a long time. No way we could have played any more baseball. Dribbler to third, barehanded by Plouffe, and Altuve beats it out.
Well, Trevor Plouffe couldn't have played it any better. Altuve and his speed ends up picking up his first hit. Has only one. He's playing back a little bit and has to come in, get it on that hop, and then get something on it. What he could, but Altuve beats it out. And on the play, Springer stayed at second base.
Correa's reached all 3 times. His leadoff walk was the beginning of the end for Tommy Malone when the Astros scored 4 times in the second. Then a leadoff home run against Malone in the third, and he got a leadoff double against Albers in the 5th. In the dirt, ball 1.
Correa has scored 3 of the 9 runs.
On the right field line, chased by Mauer. Just out of his reach. Fan reaching over the railing, but Joe wasn't in the vicinity, so no fan interference.
Correa again, only 21 years old, his second season, rookie of the year last year in the American League. 3 home runs so far in this series. '18 on the season.
Correa asks for time.
Like a little bug that got in his way.
Oh, what a catch by Polanco. Diving to his left, Polanco speared a hot line drive for out number 2.
Correa hit it right on the button, but Polanco diving to his left comes up with the grab.
Very little time to react.
Yes.
2 down, 2 on, and here's Marwin Gonzalez. Breaking ball, missing down and in. Albert's just called up. Suzuki's never caught him, so you can understand why we've got a little conversation here.
I thought maybe he got crossed up on that one pitch. That's maybe why Kurt went out there.
Okay.
Man on second base, so you're going to use more than one sign.
Up and away, 2-0. The Astros go to Toronto after the ball game here tonight. Over the inside corner. The Twins, as we said, host the Royals. Twins have an off day on Monday, so if they can get some decent starts, Twins can maybe use that off day to help the bullpen recover from today.
Twins have gone through a lot of pitchers so far this year. 25 with Albers pitching in this ball game.
And that doesn't count Eduardo Escobar, right?
No, I didn't count Esky. No. We might see him again in this game.
Well, the 26 pitchers used is a new team record in one season, and we're only on August 11th here. I can guarantee that you would, well, I shouldn't say that since so many have been used. Good pitch ends the inning. We might see some fresh faces in September as well.
Right.
2 left aboard, a scoreless 6. Roster for this game will get a chance to pitch in this game with the Astros up 9-0.
Yeah, Chapman's pitched at the big league level before, 3 other seasons with the Astros. This is his 4th season. Those are his career numbers. He's down in Fresno, AAA affiliate. He made 43 relief appearances for the AAA Fresno Ball Club, and a high ERA, 5.81 in 48 innings.
Dozier led off the game for the Twins with a double, but he's been hitting a lot of home runs since June 19th, and to no one's surprise, most of his home runs are hit on pitches that are up in the strike zone. Strike one.
Well, scouting report on Kevin Chapman: sinking fastball in the low 90s, very good slider, and a changeup.
1 strike. And I think the best news regarding Dozier in this otherwise lost season, where the Twins fell so far behind the other teams in the division so quickly. 1-1 to Dozier. Was that he's discovered that Tom Bernansky was right when Tom said, you know, you can still hit for power, you can still hit home runs, but if you use the whole field, if you drive the ball to right field as he did in the first inning, you can do some damage to that side of the field too. This one hit to left center and deep. Springer going back, still back there. He reaches up and pulls it down on the warning track.
They had a little bit of hang time. That allowed Springer to use that speed and get back to the warning track and make a nice catch. So Dozier gave it a ride. But again, it's 4-11 to that gate. Up toward the bullpen, and Springer.
And he's not used to playing center field, but he took the right angle on that ball and hauled it in. Anyway, it's not a matter of Brian Dozier doubting Tom Bernansky at all, but until you experience it yourself, you know, Dozier with all the triples, and they've all gone to right center field. They haven't gone to left center field. And now a double down the right field line today, and yet we've shown you all the home runs he's hit. He might hit 30 for the first time this year.
He hit 28 last year, so yeah, he's on pace for 30 or more.
Up and away, 1-1 to Mauer. Two and one. Tap foul.
There's that slider right there by Chapman. Chapman, 28 years old, originally signed by the Kansas City Royals, their fourth pick back in 2010 out of the University of Florida, Gainesville, Florida. Traded over to the Astros in spring training, late spring training, March of 2012.
That's to left center, and it's down for a hit. Mauer with a line drive single with one out in the sixth.
Only the third hit for the Twins. Chris Davinci, I thought, pitched a whale of a ball game. He got some early run support, but he did exactly what you want your pitcher to do: go out and put zeros on the board.
Well, mostly out of the bullpen. He entered the game with an opponent batting average of .234, which means he's got some stuff and doesn't give up a lot of hits. Here's Kepler. It'll fly ball to right field and struck out swinging against the circle of death.
That circle of death got him 5 strikeouts. But he threw 71 pitches, 51 for strikes. So he did well. Again, looking for his first major league win.
1-0. Off the end of the bat, and Tucker will chase it down. Out number 2.
Good swing right there. Just didn't get the good part of the bat on it.
And that'll bring up Sano. Struck out in the first, swinging, and then in the fourth, rolled a base hit through the right side of the infield. Since Trevor Plouffe has been activated, Sano hasn't played any third base. He's been in the lineup as the Twins' designated hitter. One and 0. Drilled to left center field. A ringing extra base hit. Mauer around second. He'll go to third. He'll be waved around. And Mauer will score on a Sano double, and the Twins are on the board.
You know, we heard that sound off the bat of Gonzalez when he hit that RBI double, and that's that same sound again. Listen. We're probably going to play it back, but how about listen on this one? You listen. That's solid wood right there. Well, Sano gets a double, an RBI double, driving in his 49th run.
Here's Plouffe. Every once in a while, when a player misses an extended period of time because of injury, they jump right back into the lineup and start hitting. And Trevor is finding it going a little tough in that regard. More often than not, it takes some games. You can send him on a rehab assignment. Trevor hit a home run on the rehab assignment, but we all know the pitching up here is a lot different than it is in AAA. 1-1. And the one good thing Trevor said about having the rib broken is it allowed some other body parts to heal, and it really has been that type of year for Trevor where it's been one thing or another, an oblique, knee problem. 1-2. Fouled away. Just 27 runs batted in part because Trevor's been hurt a lot this year.
Trevor in his 7th season with the Twins.
Hit hard to left, but right at Kemp. And he makes the catch to end the inning. Twins get on the board thanks to a Sano RBI double, and it's 9-1. Of the game, and we didn't televise this afternoon, but it went a lot like this.
Well, having Gaddis hitting a 3-run home run in the 2nd inning, giving the Astros a 3-0 lead at the time. They made it 4-0, then 5 thanks to the home run, 2-run home run by Springer, made it 7-0. Correa's home run.
And Devenski.
Yeah, that circle of death. He had to work on today. 5 strikeouts, 5 shutout innings.
Evan Gattis will lead things off. Andrew Albers has pitched 3 innings. And trying to get through the 7th inning at least. Escobar in the game for Dozier. And there's a strike on the outside corner.
65 pitches for Albers right now.
Barring a dramatic turnaround by the Twins, the best thing that can be said about this game might be that Albers saved the bullpen. For all we know, he may be asked to go all the way through this game. Pop up center field. Rosario over, and he makes the catch, 1 away. Before Tucker's at bat, you can join Fox Sports North and the Minnesota Wild for the breakaway 10K, 5K, and 1 mile run on Saturday, September 24th, benefiting the Herb Brooks Foundation. All participants receive a t-shirt and are qualified to win 2 sweet tickets for the Wild's Jets game Sunday, October 8th. For more information, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events on the Hot Topics bar. Preston Tucker, 0 for 3. Strike 1. Tucker with a foul fly caught by Santana in left, struck out in the third, and then he hit into a double play in the fifth. 2 strikes. And a called third strike, a slow breaking ball, and Tucker strikes out for the second time tonight.
Strikeout number 3 for Elmers, and all of them a called third strike. So the big slow curveball,
which was kind of sort of near the strike zone. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. And now Tyler White. I'm sure in the Houston dugout, you know, they're saying, hey, let's have good at bats. Let's keep going. Let's, you know, bear down, you know, let's keep playing the game. Then you have an at bat pretty much taken away from you.
and that's going to happen from time to time. Hey, the umpires are not perfect either.
They're not?
No, believe it or not. But they do. You know what? I wouldn't want to be an umpire. I would not. First of all, it's the traveling that these guys do.
Yeah. I know the local guys a little bit. Mark Wegner, who had the plate this afternoon, I chatted with him briefly last night. He's not on the crew for tonight's game. Gary Cederstrom for Minot. And, I always try to tell them how much I admire what they endure just in terms of the travel. It's a unique
I did too
existence.
as a player because I wanted that little bigger strike zone, but
didn't work. I'll bet.
no, it didn't work
Because there is some level of integrity there.
Yeah, they have a lot. I don't. I have none. A second hit for White in the ball game.
And what we've seen here in this split doubleheader is a really good idea. Mark Wegner had the plate last night for 2 1/2 innings, and then he came back and did the game this afternoon. It wasn't an easy game to be a part of across the board. Brown ball to third. And so now they can get a call-up umpire to fill out the crew for the second game of the doubleheader and give the home plate umpire the second game on. Good idea.
That's enough of kissing their butt.
And now our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball. Mark Trumbo, number 32 against the Athletics. They needed him. They had to score 9 runs to beat the A's 9-6. Charlie Blackmon, 4 hits in Texas, hitting picking up a bunch of hits away from Coors Field. And against the Padres, Jameson Talon with a 3-hit effort over 8 innings.
Yeah, it's still going to be a good race in that American League Eastern Division. Toronto, Baltimore, and Boston.
Toronto now with a 1-game lead going into play today, even in the loss column, because they played 2 more games than the Orioles.
How about those Cubs? My goodness, are they red hot?
Were you, as an impartial observer, the least bit concerned when they were struggling? There's base hit for Polanco as he gets another hit. 1 for 3 tonight.
No, they have so much talent. They have a very good pitching staff. You know, when you have a couple aces on that staff that'll get you through those bad times, you need those guys. And they stepped up, and now what, they've won 9, 10 in a row, something like that.
9 in a row.
Yeah.
They have a 12-game lead on the Cardinals in the National League Central. Leadoff man is on. Polanco aboard, and now Eddie Rosario.
That's why I like the wild card, Dick. You know, I mean, here are the Cardinals. They're still in the race. Even though they're 12 games out of their winning the division,
Right.
they still have a chance to get the postseason. And there's the National League Central Division. Cubs with the 71 wins. They have the most in baseball. In the American League, it's the Texas Rangers that have the most wins. The 68 coming into today's play.
That's a base hit for Rosario as he grounds a single to the opposite field. First and second, nobody out.
Well, Chapman has come in and really hasn't fooled that many people. And this copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Kurt Suzuki's 0 for 2. He lined out to the left fielder Kemp his last time up.
Yeah, Chapman gave up a run last inning on a RBI double by Sano. Mauer scored. And here, back-to-back singles.
The one thing that the wild card race has done, and the Twins benefited from it last year. Of course, we know there are 2 wild card teams, but it really is true, and it's true every year. If you stay around 500, you're relevant. You can play meaningful games in August and in September just by playing 500 baseball. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, it depends on whether you're a purist, I suppose. That is a fair ball down the line. 3rd straight hit, and Polanco will score. Rosario to second, and he'll be held there on a double by Suzuki. Well, it's 9-2.
Twins are having some good at-bats against Kevin Chapman. 5 hits he's given up in 1+ innings. So for Suzuki, his 20th double of the year, driving in his 37th run. Hitting right down that line.
And Brent Strom, the pitching coach, comes to the mound. And a slow walk by the Houston pitching coach. Danny Santana, the number 9 batter, has struck out twice, both times as a left-handed batter. Left side is a better side of the 2.
Yeah, Strom taking a little extra time out there to talk to his left-hander, but again, you know, Chapman even in AAA was struggling. 5.81 ERA in 43 relief appearances. 48 innings, gave up 55 hits, 23 walks, so a lot of base runners.
And if the Twins keep pecking away at it, let's say they get a couple more hits, maybe score 3-4 runs in this ball game, that's where the Astros really have the benefit from this afternoon's game. Their starter pitched into the 8th inning. Doug Fister went into the 8th, and Jose Barrios only pitched into the 3rd. So A.J. Hinch has got a full roster of relievers. And 0-2 now to Santana. Santana just 7 hits, 41 at bats from the right side of the plate, and 11 strikeouts. 12. And a quick strikeout. He struck out all 3 times here tonight.
Yeah, it looked like a changeup down and away, and he went fishing after it.
And now A.J. Hinch will come out here with Eduardo Escobar ready to hit in what was Dozier's spot. So we'll have a mid-inning pitching change with the Astros still comfortably in front at 9-2. But the Twins would love to get a couple more in here, at least in the 7th. Bullpen and cut into what is now a 9-2 lead. Our Quicken Loans Rocket Arms, Michael Tonkin leading the bullpen crew with 65 strikeouts. Michael Feliz leading on the Houston side with 75.
James Hoyt coming into the ball game. He worked here on Monday night, relieved Colin McHugh in the 8th inning, pitched 1 shutout inning. Did give up a hit, a double to Eddie Rosario with a strikeout through 12 pitches, 9 for strikes. Just his 5th appearance in his rookie season.
Brian Dozier had gone 1 for 3. He was taken out after his 6th inning at bat. And now Eduardo Escobar taking over at second base and taking over the #1 spot in the batting order. Checked his swing, ball 1. Twins would like to greet Hoyt with a couple of hits here and get the likes of Kepler and Sano up to the plate with some men on base and maybe 1 or 2 more runs already having scored. 2-0.
Yeah, besides pitching in game 1, Escobar got a couple hits in 4 at-bats.
He had 2 strikes on a couple of batters, and the fans who were here, of course, wanted to see a strikeout.
Well, he still got a standing ovation when he left the field. Got that final out.
Liner to the second baseman. A bullet to Gonzalez for out number 2. And that'll bring up Mauer. Who says pitchers can't hit? That was a nice swing.
Hey, he's got a 0 ERA. He's going to be on the top of the pitching chart.
That's
list.
right. Here's Mauer. Singled and scored his last time up. The Twins started the inning with 3 hits. He scored a run and had second and third, nobody out. But then Santana struck out. Escobar lined out. If the Twins are going to put a crooked number up, Mauer's got to get something done here.
Now, Hoyt getting called up on August 3rd. He had very good numbers in AAA Fresno, making just his 5th major league appearance.
Taken low, and it's 1-1.
Hoyt, 6'6", about 230. They list him at. He actually was not drafted out of college. Ended up pitching 2 years of independent baseball. The Braves liked what they saw. They gave him a contract. And now he's pitching at the big league level with the Astros.
1-1. And a ground ball knocked down. Correa comes up firing. What a play by Carlos Correa. Took a hit and 2 runs batted in away from Joe Mauer.
Second time he took a hit away from Joe Mauer in this ballgame.
With Jose Altuve, it might be the best hitter in the game right now. This guy at short.
Look how quick he gets up and throws Joe Mauer out. From deep short, good strong throw across the diamond. Over to White to end the inning.
And it'll be George Springer leading things off. Kenny Vargas taking over for Joe Mauer at first base. There's Andrew Albers, who is winning some points in the Twins dugout and all the way up through the front office, picking up this ball game in the 4th inning, and it looks for all the world like he might be asked to go the distance here and pitch the last 6 innings. At least he'll be asked to start his 5th inning of work.
Yeah, you see the 77 pitches thrown. This is going into his 5th inning.
And the idea was for the Twins to have Albers available as their 26th man, which is allowable when you have these rain-induced split double headers. Now that player is only available for the 2nd game, so Albers wasn't available in the 1st game at all. Twins had to patch that game together with the likes of Tonkin and Chagua, so on and so forth. And now Albers issues a quick walk to start the 8th inning.
That's the first walk for Albers.
Mall of America Sports Update. You can see these home games that the Twins have been losing costly in the sense that there are only 10 home games in August. Twins hoping to put together back-to-back months, winning months. There's a first pitch strike, but in July it was impressive because of who the Twins played. A lot of first place ball clubs and winning ball clubs that'll end up in the postseason. And if they're going to do it in August, they're going to have to win a lot of games on the road. A bouncer through the left side. Bregman has a hit. 1st and 2nd, nobody out.
Yeah, Bregman getting his first hit. In 4 official at bats, he did walk in the 2nd inning. Well, 19 hits in game 1, 14 hits so far here in game 2 for the Astros. A team that came in hitting only .244. Only the Rays had a lower batting average.
Altuve's out of the game, and he was at least indirectly, perhaps even directly, the source of our Carsoup.com trivia question. There's strike one. There's the question. Carsoup.com trivia question: which two players have the most 4-hit career games against the Twins? Wade Boggs and Paul Molitor. Boggs we should have got. That guy got hit quicker than anybody you'd ever see.
One of the best 2-strike hitters that I ever faced.
1-1 to A.J. Reed. And stopped by Suzuki. And if you're saying, well, it was a shame Twins had the 5-0 lead last night and it didn't count for anything, really anything at all, those things happen. And while the Twins may have had a win in the ball game last night and now instead seem to be on the verge of losing both ends of a doubleheader. Strike three. Reed's called out on strike, 1 down.
And strikeout number 4. All of them are called third strike.
And I don't think Reed's any more convinced that that was strike 3 than Tucker last inning. But a bit of a grin as he walks back to the dugout. That's right there.
Yeah, good pitch.
And now Correa will bat. Over time, these things tend to even themselves out, and you may remember that rain gave the Twins a rain-shortened victory at home against Milwaukee in April. And that is right through Trevor Plouffe. And a run will score.
Yeah, Trevor pretty solid at third base. Looked like he tried to backhand that and then maybe get the double play. You could see what he said to Elbers, you know, my fault. Should have had that ball. So it's hit hard enough maybe for a double play. Ball just scooted past Trevor through the wickets.
Marwin Gonzalez will hit.
Second error of the ball game for the Twins.
Back on April 18th, the Twins were struggling to pick up any wins they could in April. Twins were credited with a 7-4 win against Milwaukee after 6 innings. And remember, we had a very long rain delay that time before they finally ended the game after 6. Given the state of the Twins bullpen at the time, that 3-run lead was hardly a sure thing. On the ground, Plouffe gets another try.
There you go.
And it's an inning-ending double play. One more run for the Astros. They're in double digits again tonight with 10.
Start at the bottom of the 8th inning here at Target Field. Coming up after the game, we will bring you a recap of this one in Twins Live presented by CenturyLink, and we will look at just how Houston has hammered Twins pitching here tonight. So far, 10 runs on 14 hits. But one of the bright spots for Minnesota has been Miguel Sano, who will hit second in this inning here. He's playing in his career game 162 tonight and is 2 for 3 with a double. Pretty impressive body of work there for Sano. We'll also get reaction from manager Paul Molitor all after the game. Dick and Bert.
Thank you, Marty. Max Kepler takes strike 1. Hoyt out there to pitch to the Twins in the 8th. It'll be the 3, 4, and 5 batters: Kepler, Sano, and Plouffe.
Yeah, Hoyt came in for Kevin Chapman last inning, got the final 2 outs.
Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Good hard slider there.
Kepler 0 for 3, a couple of flies to right and a strikeout. And he got a piece to stay alive.
Yeah, just a kind of a small sample what Marty was talking about. Miguel Sano, 162 games. You know, you're going to look at a young man like Kepler right there. What will his numbers be? And you know, there's so many young guys on this ball club that you hope that they can all gel together like they did in '82 and stay together.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, 5 years later, win a World Series. So it takes time.
Hoyt with the slider of doom. And he strikes out Kepler, 1 down.
So it's not the slider of death.
No, because that's already been taken.
Okay. Well, no, he had the circle of death.
1 down, and now Sano. But I think, Bert, it's fun to do it. You project Kepler. What can he do maybe next year with a full season?
Right.
If the offseason this past year and the first couple months of this season didn't finally teach us to not take anything for granted when it comes to young players who aren't established, and whatever you consider to be established, is it 2 years, 3 years, 4 more, whatever, until they get to that point, you can run the risk of really being disappointed, as so many Twins fans were early this year.
You know, one of the greatest managers in Twins history, Tom Kelly, always says, what is it, 1,000 at bats?
3 years, he says. He likes to see somebody for 3 years before they begins to start to count on them.
Yep.
So Sano's going to have some, you know, ins and outs. He's going to, you know, fade in and out at the plate, in the field. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
He's going to do that, but you know what? He's a guy that you could look at in a lineup and say, this guy, if he gets hot, he could carry a ball club.
Absolutely.
And that's nice to have that type of threat in your lineup.
Then you really got something when someone, and it might be Sano, it might be Kepler, it might be Buxton down the road, who established himself as a good player and then does what Altuve did, take it to that next level and becoming one of the best in the game. When you hear scouts and baseball people talk about potential of Miguel Sano, that's what they're talking about. Pulled hard and foul.
We got a slider right there. Hoyt throwing him a lot of breaking balls.
You know, and Sano is going to be a player that will have a very high ceiling, and many great things will be expected of him. 2-2. And a strike 3 called.
A low strike right there, but Hoyt picking up his 2nd straight strikeout.
2 down, and that'll bring up Plouffe.
Maybe looking for the slider, but this looked like the fastball. Box track says it got a piece of that lower strike zone.
Plouffe 0 for 3, a ground ball, a pop up, and a line out.
This game's funny because you have to take the good with the bad. You know, you're going to have your high moments and then you're going to have your low moments. It's how to find that happy medium throughout a career.
And the one thing you want to be consistent is the work ethic
Yes.
and the effort. right side, and that handcuffs White at first base, and Plouffe will reach.
That should be a base hit. That ball kind of ate him up right there. A tough little hop.
Praise FM invites you to Faith Night 2016, a post-game event following the August 13th game between the Twins and the Royals. You can enjoy the game and then stay for post-game live worship music and appearances by Brian Dozier, Kyle Gibson, and other special guests. For details and tickets, visit twinsbaseball.com/Faith Night. Here is Polanco, a single and a run scored his last time up. Ball one. Polanco now, hasn't even had 100 at bats in the big leagues yet.
Yeah, they give Trevor Plouffe infield base hit. It took a little while for them to determine that.
And late on a 94-mile-per-hour fastball.
Yeah, this is another youngster right here that's going to be fun to watch develop.
Backhanded by Correa, and he beat it out.
Yeah.
So Polanco, with his speed, gets his second hit again here tonight, and that's what we've seen from him. At least one hit, and more often than not 2 hits a game.
Well, we talked about it. He doesn't walk much, he doesn't strike out much, but he's got a very pretty swing right here. This ball just waited last second right up the middle. Correa, you've seen him make some great plays. He got rid of it quickly. And you see him hustling out of that box, and that little extra right there got him an infield base hit.
And you could see, even though Correa fielded the ball, Polanco beat the shift because there was nowhere or no one to flip the ball to second base to get the force play there. So he had to make the longer throw, and Polanco beat it out. Rosario singled to the opposite field his last time up. One and 0. The dribbler right side. We'll see if Rosario can beat this out. Very close. And Paul Molitor is going to put a foot out of the dugout because he thinks that a Rosario may have beaten it out.
Yeah, they're going to take a look at it. Doesn't hurt to look at it. And he pulls his foot back. So let's go. Let's play ball. White getting over there, catching the ball, and then
just barely beat it.
Yep. Good hustle, though, by Rosario.
And quick work by Sean Harlan, the video guy, taking a look at it and saying, nope, not this time. Gaddis swings at the first pitch from Andrew Albers and lifts it foul into the seats, 1 strike. It'll be Gaddis, Tucker, and White. And Andrew Albers as picking up the baseball and starting in the 4th inning. Looks like he's going to finish his ball game, and that'll be a huge help for the Twins, who will be very disappointed in what they got from their starting pitchers today, but should be able to recover in time for the Kansas City series, at least protecting the arms of Presley and Kinsler.
I know Paul Molitor's got to be happy with Albers was able to do, and right there another strikeout, the 5th, and all of them again on a call 3rd strike. He's given up 5 runs now. 3 of them are earned, 2 unearned runs.
It's interesting, and the Twins have a couple of different ways they can play it, but if Albers had been added as the 26th man, then obviously somebody would have to be sent back by tomorrow's game. But as it is, he's the other half of the transaction that sent Buddy Boshiers to the disabled list. So the possibility exists that Albers stays. Of course, the Twins could still call up somebody else for the Kansas City series, would be able to pitch for them as soon as tomorrow night. But it's not an automatic. I mean, as it is right now, there's a 25-man roster that doesn't need to be trimmed unless the Twins consciously make a decision to do that. With Boshiers going on the disabled list with some tenderness in his elbow. 1-2. Tucker's 0 for 4. His team has 14 hits. Now a hopper to short. Polanco to Vargas, 2 down.
I think we all have to tip our hat to Albers. Ken Gill's starting to warm up.
Giles, excuse me. Tyler White will bat with 2 gone in the 9th.
Gonna get my glasses fixed.
Ball 1. And a base hit to right for Tyler White, his 3rd straight hit.
Yeah, White having a good day at the plate.
Tony Kemp will bat. Kemp with a single in the 4-run second. Since then, he's 0 for 3 with 2 ground balls and a strikeout. Strike 1.
Again, what has helped Albers in the AAA, 19 starts. He's always a starter, so he's right about probably where he is in a start right now with 101 pitches.
And that he's been able to get to this point of the game, and almost certainly now will finish it, although Ryan Presley's just playing some catch out in the bullpen. Blocked by Suzuki. Ryan Presley came into action today, tied for the league lead in games pitched, 55 of them. And Presley just playing catch. He's not really firing it up out there.
I think, he wasn't in game 1, and he's just probably just loosening it up. They like to throw about every day.
I think if the Astros string together some 2-out hits here, now they've got 2 in a row, we might see Presley warm up in earnest. Back-to-back 2-out singles, and now Springer will bat.
Kemp picks up his 2nd hit right back up the middle. Watch out. Just over the head of Albers into center field.
Springer with 3 extra base hits, a walk, 3 runs driven in, and 2 runs scored.
Boy, he swings hard, doesn't he?
Well, why not?
Doesn't get cheated.
The ball's going to be right there.
Well, I think he swings, if the ball was down and away, he'd swing the same way. Albers is yet to retire him. The 2-run home run, a double, and then he walked him in the 8th inning.
And a ball strike.
Good fastball there.
One of the other options for the Twins would be, since Tommy Milone was pulled out of the bullpen, and if this spot comes up again, you can imagine maybe the Twins would consider starting Albers instead of Milone.
Good pitch right there. Good fastball in.
Kind of an emergency situation in the first place, though, with Milone coming out of the bullpen. 1-2.
Well, I think they're expecting more than 3 innings out of Tommy, as they were expecting more than 2 innings out of Berrios.
Down to a knee, a foul ball. In July, when the Twins went 15-11, they had a team ERA of 3.80. Now, after today, the team ERA in August is going to be well over 5. Came into the game at 4.90. To right, and it's hanging in the air for Kepler. Hey, Twins are behind by plenty, but tip your cap to Andrew Ellis. He is about the only thing that went right in the pitching department tonight, having picked up the game in the 4th and took it through the 9th.
Yeah, he gave up 11 hits in the 6 innings, 3 earned runs with a walk and 5 strikeouts, and you could almost say he took one for the team right there, for the guys out in the bullpen. He threw well over 100 pitches. Yeah, he went about his business. Picked up some strikeouts, as I mentioned, 5 of them in the 6 innings. But you know, he saved the arms out there, and good performance, even though the Twins find themselves down 10-2.
On this Thursday, the Twins have given them 25 runs, 35 hits, and now the Astros closer, Kent Giles, will try to make quick work of the Twins in the 9th. It'll be Kurt Suzuki, Danny Santana, and Eduardo Escobar. And Suzuki takes a strike. He doubled his last time up. The Twins started the 7th, and you got a whiff of a comeback attempt with 3 straight hits in the 7th, but the Twins got just 1 run. They left Rosario and Suzuki in scoring position after they got there with nobody out. Check swing up high, 1-1.
Giles picked up his 2nd save here on Tuesday night in the Astros 7-5 win. Giles coming over from the Philadelphia Phillies.
And Suzuki got a pitch up, fouled it to the backstop.
Giles just 25 years old. Born in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Drilled hard, but it'll hook foul. Suzuki just jumped all over that.
Yeah, that was a hanging slider right there. Fan down that left field line. My goodness, you bring your glove, you get an opportunity to catch a ball.
I've been looking for 30 years for what happened to my high school glove, and I found it right there. That was my glove in high school.
Just missed it.
He's got a catcher's mitt. Give him a little bit of a break.
No way.
Popped up into the seats. All right, some fans going to make it nice. He's going to catch it barehanded. Watch this. What'd I tell you?
He did.
What'd I tell you?
He didn't need a catcher's glove.
She did.
She did.
Very nice. So we tell people to bring their gloves, and we have a young man who brought his glove and missed one.
He's looking across.
And then a young lady who didn't have a glove, and she caught it. Two and two now to Suzuki. Reed's at first, Bregman's at second, he was at third, White's at third, Gonzalez is in center. And hard to right field. Back to make the catch is Tucker, one down. New series, new team. We haven't seen much of the Royals lately. And so we will see them a lot the next 2 weekends, with 3 games with the Royals here this weekend and 4 in Kansas City next weekend. Here's our CenturyLink What's Next.
Yeah, Kyle Gibson has had very good numbers against the Royals, and he needs a good start tomorrow night.
Danny Santana will hit. Strike at the knees.
See Danny just looking for contact. 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts.
Contact, but a dribbler foul. 0-2. Santana in left field tonight. Robbie Grossman was there this afternoon. If the Astros get back into contention seriously, looks like Evan Gattis just has a tough time catching the ball consistently behind the plate. He's like the fan down the left field line. He has a catcher's mitt, and the ball rattles out of it a lot. And Santana strikes out for the 4th time.
He's too big for me to say anything, believe me. He's all yours, Dick.
2 down, and now Eduardo Escobar.
Giles picking up a strikeout. He's straight over the top. Breaking ball.
Gattis caught it that time. And Escobar swings through the slider. You can see the stuff from the center field camera and why the Astros pursued him so heavily, to the point where they gave up 5 pitchers to get Giles. One strike. And now 2 strikes.
Well, he had 15 saves last year for the Phillies, but in 1+ years with the Phillies, he came up late in 2014. He had 16 saves, an ERA at 1.56 in 84 ball games. Excuse me, 113 ball games.
Escobar stays alive. A.J. Hinch hoping that his team can finish off the road trip with some success in Toronto. Then they head home, and kind of a tough part of the schedule for them. Play the Cardinals and then the Orioles. Then Pittsburgh. One and two. Twins have 3, as we mentioned, with Kansas City, then a day off Monday, a couple with Atlanta, and then 4 in Kansas City. 2-hopper. Easy play for Gonzalez, and that wraps things up. The Astros lost the opener, but then they thumped the Twins pretty good. Tom Hanneman, the Astros, outscored the Twins by plenty in this doubleheader, scoring 25 runs.
Dick, it was a Houston we've got a problem kind of day for the Twins, who drop a pair to the Astros. Up next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We'll review the events of this day, what Miguel Sano did today in the 162nd game of his career, and we'll hear from Paul Molitor.